good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show. There's the one and only Southside. And Bridgeman. Evening, boys.
Hi, good evening, Ox. Good to be on the night with the legend Bridgeman. And good evening to all the Rangers supporters listening in this evening.
No, what can I say? Big good evening to yourself, Ox, and of course the techie team in the background. And thank you very much, right at the start here, Southside, you're going to look after me tonight. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here, on Rangers Radio, every single one of you, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How are you, Bridge?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well, pal.
I believe you took a trip to Ibrox, as they say, yeah?
I was over at Ibrox today. First time I've been, because I haven't been very well with the legs, you know. So I went over today, took a wife and went to get my season ticket fixed. And we went up to the store, the new store, Edmondson House. And it looks really nice, you know. And the nice shops are lovely. Upstairs, downstairs, lovely. I went to the restaurant, the cafe, and my wife said, "Oh, this is a bit dowdy, you know. Nobody seems to be cleaning the tables."
Well, let them know, Bridge. Let them know.
Aye, well,
standards,
you know.
Standards, Southside, that's standards.
Yep, 100%. Always need to maintain the standards.
Maybe needs a catering manager with experience in there.
Oh, wow. Do we know one?
We can find one.
Southside.
We can certainly find one. Yes. Southside, you've been with Southside, you visited on a non-match day?
Aye, I've been in for a non-match day. I've been over and had a wee look. It's can't really go any further than just the one level down the stair, one up to see the strips. It's basically the shop and the cafe. So I've not been down for a match day yet before the game or anything like that. I'm going to go down for one, but at the moment I've not went down. So I'm looking forward to it once I take the trip down during the match day, mate.
They're doing a lot of work on the side of it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to be. Is that going to set up for the games or something like with the kids?
There'll be a fan zone at the side of it or something, I don't know, mate.
Yeah, it could be, could be.
I don't know. It's a chicken and egg scenario. You need the revenue to build the team Southside, so I suppose we'll go to see it as a positive.
In the long run, it will generate, probably at the start, it'll take a wee while, obviously, for the amount that was extra to build it and stuff, but it's money that's going to come into the club over a number of years, and using it for all different events, like weddings and concerts, seminars, functions and stuff, so it's equipped to cater for quite a lot of different things, and over the time it will bring revenue into the club. Ox.
Did you say weddings?
Yep.
Oh, let Fox know. He must be doing that. He's not the one for a while, you know. See, it's a positive, Bridge.
I think so. Yeah, I'm delighted because I remember being in the old Edmondson House, and it was actually quite a popular place until there was a sort of, shall we say, territorial gangs and all that going on in the bit. It caused a few problems that ended up shutting it down. But seriously, I've been looking forward to this, and it's a beautiful place, by the way. Looks lovely, and the staff in it are really nice and friendly. So, and it's a huge shop. Even my wife said the colours are tremendous, so I can't say none. Very happy with it.
Did you buy a strip, Bridge?
No, I just said that there. No, I never. She said the colour, particularly orange one, she said. I said, I'm not buying you that. Beat it. So.
I think Mrs. Bridge might have bought the teas, if I'm being honest, Southside.
It's 100% that, isn't it? He's just declared he's no spent a penny. He probably didn't even tip the limousine driver. You know what I mean? You know, Bridge.
I love it. I just love it. Brilliant. No, I was very impressed, guys. Really impressed with the place. And there you go. We've been watching that for 3 years. Sort of sprouting up for the ground, and there it's there. So I was looking for Fox's brother, Caleb or something like that. He was he was always, every time I met him at the wee bistro, he would tell us, look at this, what's happening there, and his company had the contract for the lights and things like that. And I was going to say congratulations to him, because everything he said is right. It's brilliant. It's good.
Oh, good. Well, what big game coming on Sunday. I'll tell you what we'll do before we start. We'll hear the first half of the interview for your gaffer. We'll have a chat and we'll get the phone lines opened, if that's all right. We used to outstanding gentlemen or upstanding gentlemen.
That sounds good. Hopefully we'll get a few callers in tonight, mate. Big game on Sunday.
Here.
Huge game.
Let's hear for your gaffer, Michael Beale.
Michael, quite simply, how will this game define your season?
It's a huge game, we know that. The season has been a rough ride for the fans, I think, and this is a chance for us to put a few wrongs right in this game. It is just one game, but I think it would have a big impact on the season if we was to win and go back to the Scottish Cup final again.
What's it going to take, given you've had a couple of games against Celtic, a few games against Celtic already, what's it going to take now to go that one step further and get the win? Just
need to bring the best of ourselves, and the games have been reasonably tight, and they've been won and lost on mistakes, and it's important that we bring our best effort and we bring our best performance, and again, like in the penalty boxes, will be decisive. And in the game a couple of weeks ago, I thought we performed overall quite well. But we just need to eradicate one or two things defensively, I think.
After the League Cup final, you're saying you have to be better in this fixture. You have to be able to show you can go and win. Is that just as much a mentality thing then going into this game?
These players have won these games before. Have gone on long runs of being unbeaten in these games, and no, listen, we'll see where we are after Sunday. It's clearly a big game.
In terms of as well, in terms of support, there'll be a 50-50 in terms of the split of the support. How important is that going to be to get the backing in the right way?
I think it'll be a fantastic atmosphere that'll showcase Scottish football in a great way. I think there'll be a lot of colour, a lot of noise in the stadium. It's at the National Stadium as well. So I think it will be a real good showcase of Scottish football, two good teams, and having the 50-50 fans, I think will make it a fantastic atmosphere for the players on the pitch for sure, but also everybody watching and inside the stadium.
Your list of injuries, Michael, any of them back?
Connor trained today, Scott Wright trained today, Ryan Kent, so it's just seeing if they come through okay. Obviously, they've all been out for 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, we have competition. Alex Lowry's back training now, as we know, he just missed out on the squad last week, and I believe Adam Devine will probably train tomorrow, but the game might come a little bit too soon for him.
Obviously pleased to have a fuller squad to choose from this time.
Yeah, obviously they're only arriving back today, so we'll have to assess where they are, but it's nice to have them back.
Michael, what's the situation with Philip Helander? I think the last time you talked about it, you said it was maybe March that he would be due back.
Yeah, Phil has a unique problem that's unique just to Phil, really, because it's about bone structure in his foot, and so he's away seeing a specialist. He's not back on the pitch just yet.
Michael, you talk about, obviously, you need to win this game to define your season. There's always a demand for success at this club, but psychologically going forward, how important is it that you win this game? You know, it'll be your 4th match against Celtic. All have been close, but yet to win. How important is it that you do get one over them going into next season?
Oh, listen, in this game, it's always important to win. We've been bitterly disappointed this season with the way it's gone, and we have 2 more opportunities, but let's just deal with this one that's in front of us. This is a huge game.
Do you feel that your players have anything to prove to you going into next season as well? Because we've spoken to you many times, we know there's going to be big changes in the summer. Do you feel that they have to show that they can perform in these biggest games and beat Celtic in these biggest games going into next campaign?
I don't think they have to prove anything to me. Maybe to themselves. It's a big opportunity as a player. You know, we're at a club where there's an opportunity to win, and in your career as a player, whatever your age you are, there's only a certain amount of years that you have an opportunity to win, and depending whether you're the youngest player or the oldest player in the squad, you've got more or you've got less. And I think this weekend's a big opportunity for our team to win a semi-final and take us to the final. After that, you'd have to go and perform again there as well. So no, don't have to prove anything to me. Maybe to themselves and maybe to the fans for sure. And obviously that will to win, that's what they signed up for coming here. And you know, this season we're going to finish in 2nd in the league. We've run us up in 1 cup competition. We want to go and win the cup. That's clear, and it will be bitterly disappointed if we don't. But we have to keep moving forward.
When you came into the club, Michael, in the back end of last year, it was a troubled time. Do you feel progress has been made? And if so, in what areas?
We've won a lot of football games. I think 23 games, we've won 19, and to a couple of weeks ago, their record looks strong. We've had a couple of defeats that have been hard to take the last couple of weeks, and I think the progress has been made in terms of we're much clearer now in the decisions that we need to make this summer. Those decisions have obviously clearly been ongoing in the background. We know where we need to recruit, the areas we need to improve. Obviously, if you've played, this will be the fourth game against the team that's in front of you. You have a good idea of what you need maybe to overcome them. And so I think the progress has been made. There's a lot of harmony behind the scenes. There's obviously been change within the club structurally as well, and that's ongoing. But I'm super positive about the future.
In terms of being a success, it seems to be either black or white. You beat Celtic, it's a success. You lose to them, it's failure. How close do you think you are to taking Rangers to be back to the dominant force once again?
Well, listen, the black and white's outside the building. It's not inside the building. I think, you see small successes, you see things coming together, you see harmony, you see building. I think if people outside can't see that the games have been closer than maybe they were a few months before, then that's for them. Everyone's got their own opinion. My opinion inside is that we're working away well. There was a reason why I came into the club in the first place. But all of that aside, this weekend it's two groups of men going out to play a really important game, and I just want our team to perform at their best, and ultimately we want to get the result. My mind's on that. All the other stuff I'm going to get judged on regardless, and so are the players. So let's just focus on this semi-final, because, as you say, it's a huge game for my group of players and our football club.
In terms of Connor being back once again, how much does that give you a good decision to make in terms of having more players available to you? With John Souttar coming back as well after being out for so long, you do have options there now.
Yeah, it's been the one position this year that's not been stable in the team. I think the centre-back position's had a lot of impact in our season. The amount of games Connor's missed this year compared to all the other years combined. He's our vice-captain, he's a big voice on the pitch, and when he plays, the results for the team, points per game and everything goes up. So it's nice to have him back. I think it's been great to have John Souttar the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think at times he's performed well in the games as well. So if that's a sign of moving forward, then again that gives us some strength. And the most important thing for me is stability in the team in key positions: goalkeeper, centre back, number 9, and possibly this year that hasn't been the case.
Finally from me then, Borna said that he thinks the players owe the fans a victory this weekend. Is that a sentiment you would agree with?
I won't disagree.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks for that, folks. Enjoy your award. How do I put this? He gets the problem, Southside. Talks cheap. Actions are harder to get over, yeah?
Aye. I think, listening to what he was saying, watching Rangers week in, week out, as everybody does, I think we can see from before the World Cup, since he's come in, after that, I think you can see that there's been progress in the squad. We've managed to put a run of wins together, but we're winning away from home. It's something that we should be doing as a club, right? But for what you had to take over in that squad of players who basically capitulated in 3 games leading up to the World Cup, to get them back playing, winning. Aye, we've failed in a couple of tests and it's been against them. But you can still see in the games that he set us up against them, you can see it's different and there is progress. And barring a few mistakes here and there in the games, the result would have been the other way. And we would have seen the change, I think. So I can see there's progress, and I think he's managing to get a tune out of most of the players. I think he still says a wee bit too much regarding players knowing what we're saying behind the scenes and that. And I think if there's players maybe waiting on a contract offer and it's no forthwith, they might be wondering if they're getting kept. But then that's down to them to go out when the big game matters, which is this weekend. They've got to go out and perform. So I can see a difference in the team and style walks, but you need to be winning the big games that matter. And at the moment, they've failed on them.
Mm-hmm. Bridge?
Yeah, I agree 100% what Southside said, but I would add to that. There's little things in among what Southside said. We've got to be scoring goals. We've got to be scoring goals. And the chances that we're making, and we know we make quite a lot of them sometimes, if we're not getting 2 or 3 out of 10 goals from 2 or 3 goals out of 10, there's something not right, and he has to resolve that somehow or other. His manager's going to have to do it. We've been at some games where we've played like 27 shots at goals and no scored a goal. It's just crazy. And these things, they're the ones that do it. All the things that Southside said, I think everything they said I agree with, and I just think that's the icing in the cake to get us to score goals. Be brilliant.
Goals at the right time, Southside, and cut out the individual errors.
Aye. I mean, you can see that he's got an idea on the system, and we've had big chances in certain games against them, and we never took them. And even the game at Ibrox, we had chances to kill the game before Lundstrom went off injured, and we had to change and put a couple of subs on, brought in James Sands, and I think Ryan Jack went off as well, didn't he? But we swapped it and we ended up getting away a sloppy goal because Jack didn't clear the ball at the byline.
Ryan Jack come on. He came on. He didn't clear the ball at the byline and the ball get cut across, and we know what happened. So individual errors like that, but we've got to turn the tide at some point, and I think there's not been much in the last 3 games. And see, to be honest, we've only turned up 45 minutes each of the games basically, up until the one at across the city. We were better, and for most parts in that game we were good. But the other 2, we turned up for 45 minutes in each off. So we need to get a 90-minute performance, Ox, and we need to take the chances when they come. And it'll be down to Michael Beale who he thinks he should play up front. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Aye. Errors have killed us, isn't they, Bridge? Errors, individual errors, and if you like, if I'm being honest, schoolboy errors at times, yeah.
Well, some of them are glaringly obvious schoolboy errors, and sometimes your team's playing well, and everybody's on the same note and the same page and everything, and they can do all the lovely passes, and then among all those lovely passes are the blind passes, and when they come off, they're just fabulous. But the last number of times we've tried these blind passes, we've been caught out, and it's cost us goals, cost us big time, momentum gone, form drops, people get their head down because of these things, and that's what's causing it. Sometimes we're doing these blind passes when we're not actually able to do it because we're no top form, no 100% with us, the eye-ball coordination isn't quite there, that kind of thing, maybe a wee yard out. So we need to make sure we don't do these things. Self-inflicted pain. That's what that is.
Aye, it has been. And we know that if we expose them, they've got errors in them. Southside, we had them rattled apart to either side of half time, and you've got to capitalise when you're on top, man.
Aye, I mean, they know when Joe Hart gets the ball and they're looking to pass it out, we've seen it up there across the city. We shut them down. We left it to their one defender, and now and again they punted that ball up apart to nobody. And they're no very good. We can get at them. You can get at them between the centre back and the full back. And if you've got players with pace, you will hurt them. And you don't even need to be dominating the game. It's when you get possession. If you can't play through the midfield, you can knock the ball long into the channels. And if you've got players with pace, or else you can work it through the midfield, and then you play the ball. For me, Alfie, he's predictable. He comes short. He's always going to take the ball with and facing our goal basically and hold it in. But he's not going to spin off the defender and run round him, go into the channel. It's not his game. So I just think how you hurt them's with pace, and it's just about putting the right balls through. And I think you can get at them, and especially when they're trying to play out for the back. Aye, they might play through you now and again, but you're more likely will shut them down, and we showed it in the last game. It's just about having the right players on the part that's willing to put that shift in for you. If you one these are slacking a bit, and then they will get through. But I just think if you keep pacing your team, you can hurt them, and that's what I think we need to do, mate.
Brilliant points.
I get that, Suicide, I get that. But the thing, if you do that, you've got to do it as a team, ain't you? Yeah.
You'll have to press as a unit, and they'll have that work to training. There'll be triggers, and sometimes we'll be able to sit off them up slightly and let them cover them up and run about the park. And if a centre back score it, let them either punt it long or try and make this pass that we'll hopefully cut out. But there's errors in their team. There's 100% errors in their team. You only need to look at the goal they conceded last week to Motherwell, when it was a similar out ball that we were trying to play on Wednesday night, Sunday, when we tried to play the ball, and Tav done it to Alfie. Motherwell played the similar type of ball, and all he done was go it and ran at them, and the fullback turned his sail inside out, and the boy just kept going into the box, put it in the net. Simple goal. So they're not any great shakes at all. We've just got to make sure that we can try and get the first goal this time and see how they react to that. That's what we need to do. But it's a one-half game, Ox, and we shouldn't have any fear at all, to be honest. It's a game of football, and we've certainly got a squad and a team under Michael Beale with a new sort of style, slightly for what we're used to, and we know we can beat them. We just need a bit of luck on the day.
Luck's a big word, Bridge.
Aye, it's got to be. You've got to have it. You've got to have it. There are times when your whole game depends on the kind of luck you get, and when you get it, make the most of it. That's all you can do. Make the most of it. But see, if you don't, then you're not doing your best of your skill. You're not doing it, and the best of luck you've got, not doing it. Sometimes it just isn't for you, and I'm afraid few games particularly against them, we've given away some terrible bad passes and just made a complete fool of ourselves from a visit to look at. Fans standing in the terrace, sitting in the terrace, whatever, and they're seeing that. It's just poor. And we need to carry that. And when you get the luck, run it. Make it run for you. If you can, just go with it. Carry the luck. Let it come with you.
Aye. Okay, you mentioned that Ghost and Kent. I didn't even know that Adam Devine was injured. So if I'm being honest.
No, I didn't. I didn't myself. I think he said Lowry was back as well, didn't he, training?
Yeah, he's back training. I don't think he's going to influence Sunday's game, if I'm honest, no.
No, I think
if I was dealing with Alex Lowry this now, everything would be full steam ahead for next season for the boy, yeah. Pre-season, clear his head, get himself fit, make sure he's 100% clear of injury, and his aim's August, if that makes sense, outside.
Aye, well, he's one of the boys that you're hoping that he'll manage to get into the squad at some point and make an impression, maybe. But like you say, we're going to be adding new players, and it might make it slightly harder for him. But we've seen he's got ability. It's just about him trying to apply himself properly. And if Michael Beale sees that and he does well in training and he gets his chance, then hopefully we'll see him in time. But it all depends on the players that when they come into the squad. For the B team, training with the first team all the time, it's down to them to make the impression themselves, Ox.
That's a good point. That's a really good point there. Sometimes you just can't do it. See, like the young Lowry there. Sometimes when I watch him, I think on the ball, on the front foot, moving forward, very, very good. See, sometimes when you're expecting to make a wee tackle, it just didn't seem to time the tackle right. He might even get a sniff on the ball, a wee slide on it, but it ends up getting injured or something. Somebody stands on his toes, that kind of stupid things. And that's, I'm not saying his injuries are stupid, but that's how easy it is to do it. You mistime the tackle, and you get injured. We know that happens. If you don't go 100%, then you're going to get an injury.
No, I just think he was assaulted Southside, wasn't it? It was an absolute coward tackle.
Oh, the one at Dumbarton, that was shocking and shameful. He probably has to bulk himself up a wee bit more in the gym box. He'll have to try and fill himself out a wee bit. You can see he's got ability. The boy's definitely got ability. But it's like anything. It's about trying to force your way into the team. Mm-hmm. But maybe given a good pre-season with the squad and gets a chance in some friendly games. You never know, but it's really down to him. We see he's got a talent. We see there's a talent there, but it's down to the boy to actually force his way into the team. We can't do it. We can only say he looks like a good, talented young boy, but it's really down to him to try and get himself into the Rangers first team, you know.
Get himself down to Edmondson House. Mrs. Briggs will buy him a cake. I'll milk him up.
They do a lovely carrot cake. That was beautiful and delicious, I tell you.
It's actually, if you look at it, it's orange carrot cake.
That's correct. I loved it. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Really
right.
Delicious.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Southside Bridge, we'll hear the other half of Michael Beale. See if we can pick out any snippets before we start talking about what he said about the players. He's obviously mentioned the man's back in training. Let's hear from your gaffer, Michael Beale.
Michael, Chris Willock and Jack Butland, a few names that have been mentioned this week. Appreciate you'll be focusing on Sunday, but are you any closer this week compared to last with summer transfers?
Yeah, there's no truth in Chris Willock. I want to end that one there. Chris is a boy that I worked with, Neil's worked with before, but QPR is a club that was close to our heart. We enjoyed our time there. We won't be going back towards QPR in terms of trying to take advantage of anything at that end. So Chris is QPR's player. He's a big player for them. I was delighted last week for Gareth and the staff, Les and everyone there. They got a big result, and I would like to squash that one where it is. In terms of the others, I've been busy outside of here, and I've been working really hard. I've stopped the last couple of days because the focus is very much on this game, but I'm pleased with the way things are going.
Michael, big picture, you've talked about stability there, and another word you used previously in press conferences has been continuity. How important is it, given the amount of change that there is at executive level, and with managers, there's obviously been 3 managers in a short period of time, that there's now a level of continuity in place for a period of time to allow you to bed in your ideas, and I suppose across the club as well?
Boardroom stability will take place now, won't it? Because John's obviously taken over the chairmanship from Douglas. That's someone who did an excellent job handing over to his vice chairman, who's going to come in with his energy and ideas. And there's been a couple of changes in terms of Ross going out and then Stuart leaving in the summer and James stepping up. So there will be stability. In terms of the manager position, well, that will come down to how well I do with this squad and through recruitment and the start of next season, and how we finish the end of this season. I think we're here for our fans. It's important our fans feel that the team's moving in the right direction, and that will determine whether a coach stays. But in terms of the infrastructure in the club, I think the club's infrastructure is really strong. If I consider the time when I came into the club first time round to now, the club's in a completely different place.
Number of players out of contract this summer, Michael, guys that might not be here, like McGregor, Morelos, Kent. How important is it that guys like this finish this season and finish their time in the club if they are to leave with a trophy?
Yeah, well, they're all in different places and all their circumstances are different, so I don't want to be dramatic and say it's like this one's last chance or that one's last chance, but you know, each individual will look at things differently. They're all in quite a good place at the moment. They've had real clarity from me in terms of conversation. So, look, I don't want to create too much drama around this game. It's clearly a big game. You guys will go away and sharpen your pencils around that anyway. So let's just play the game, bring the best version of ourselves. The last game a couple of weeks ago, we performed well in. And if we perform at the same level without 1 or 2 mistakes, then this game will be a very good game for the neutral. It's clear that Celtic are a good team, and we'll need to bring our best to get to the cup final.
Could a win in this game to show that you are at a similar level to Celtic potentially make the club more appealing to some potential summer transfer signings?
Not really. I think the big thing is if we win this game, we've got a chance to win the trophy this year. If we don't, we haven't. The next year, we start from level pickings and off we go. And I think all of the players that I've been away talking to, the club pretty much sells itself in terms of the opportunity it gives a player. Every week you play in front of 52,000. You know, the facilities here and the facilities at Ibrox are outstanding. There's a chance to play in Europe. What's then not to like for a young player or a player of any level coming in? So yeah, I don't think this weekend will have a big impact on this group of players that are here now, not players coming in for outside.
Are you concerned about the pitch on Sunday, Michael, given the fact there's a game on tomorrow afternoon as well?
There's been quite a lot of games on the pitch in the last few weeks, various cup finals and whatnot. And listen, I get the scheduling, it has to be the same weekend. It's probably good for the TV as well, but when I saw the rain this morning and into the afternoon, I was a little bit concerned. But you hear the national team players speaking about it after the Spain game, but that was a good few weeks ago now. So you're hoping that the pitch might have improved, and we could do with some good weather overnight before the first semi-final, which I think is a cracking semi-final for the Scottish Cup and for Scottish football as well. I think the two teams have earned their right to get to the semi-final the same way that Rangers and Celtic have, and I wish both those clubs well, and it's a really important game for those two clubs as well.
Michael, you recently said that you're going to step up the extra responsibilities now that Ross Wilson's away. You said earlier that you're busy, you've been travelling around and stuff like that. How are you finding that extra side to your job, and how are you juggling that with the training ground stuff as well?
No, all fine. I've got really good support system from the various staff, and I don't miss any training. I'm here taking all the training. That's the part I love in my day, from 11 till 12:30 or till 1 o'clock. The training with the boys on the pitch, that's important. But then as soon as you're off the pitch, you're probably fending a few more phone calls, and you got a few more people wanting to knock on your door. It's a bit like a doctor's office at times with the different departments and stuff. But listen, it's fine. It's something. I want to be all inclusive and across everything that the club's doing, and it's this is actually an exciting time. It's just important before the games that stops a little bit, and we focus certainly for a game like this weekend.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, we didn't really hear much more about the team selection there, South Side. So with Goldstein looking as if he trained today, aiming to be back in Kent, are they playing for you, mate? Do you think the manager will play them South Side?
I think one out of the two might make it. I don't know if the two of them will make it, but if they do, you probably will bring Goldstein in. I think he sort of alluded earlier. He's an important member of the team, and he looked for a bit of stability and continuity. So I think if he's fit, then I think he will bring him back.
Yeah. Would you do it, or do you think Michael Beale will do it?
It's one of the gambles. He's missed 3 games. It's about 3 games he's missed. So technically, since he came back, he's probably got a level of fitness, so he probably could go in. But you know the pace of the game and what it's going to be like. Could you be rushing him back and he might jar something or slide in and something happens and he's got to go off? That'll maybe be he'll probably have to just do a fitness test, Ox, and then it'll be down to Michael Beale and the player. I guess the player will want to play. And it'll be down to Michael Beale's decision, I suppose. I would think he probably will play him, Ox, if he declares himself fit, to be honest.
Rich?
I hope, obviously, Goldson's going to play. The manager sounded, well, I'm only trying to pick up the words. I thought the manager was saying he was going to play. That's what I thought he says. That's my interpretation of what he said, should I say. So, as far as I'm concerned, Goldson will be playing. I don't know, was it Kent he was talking about? Ryan Kent?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know whether Kent will make it, but I actually do hope, I said this last night, I do hope both of them make it. Because they on their game, they're very good players and they bring something to the park. So I do hope they make it. The manager sounded quite positive about Goldson. I didn't say that I never picked up that much of what he said about Kent.
He said the trend today, and they'll have to wait and see. That's what he said.
That's the way it is, isn't it? You know. No, it's good enough for me. I don't want to be disappointed on Sunday when we pick up the team sheet and see he's not there or something like that. They've got to be there. Can't just say maybe, you know, they've got to be there. I don't know.
Aye. Would Southside, in your expert opinion, yeah? would you let a player declare his fitness in a big game, or do you think there should be a rigid check on a player, then other people make the decision?
Well, I think obviously you've got to go by the fitness and the physio's report. I think players will always say they're fit if they're close to it. They don't want to miss out in a big game. He is crucial for a lot. He's at the centre back position that he has been in. So I think he will declare himself fit. But it was a pelvic injury or something, whatever it was. Whatever they said it was. But
a hip
flexor, whatever that is. You know,
box will show you later, mate.
I think it should come down to the man. Do the fitness test, Ox. Do the fitness test, and then take the advice for the physio and whoever's been looking after him, and then you've got to make that decision. It is a gamble. You could go out and pick up the injury stretch or whatever. Like I said, it will be a fast-paced game. You know the tempo of these games, and you want him to be able to go in and put a right good challenge in should it be required. So you've got to take all that into consideration. And Big Suitor's actually done all right considering the back pass aside. He's getting a level of fitness up and he's played pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Bridge, who would you let make a decision? You in the players' camp or the coaching staff's camp? Well,
sometimes it's about maybe 60-40 to be perfectly honest, because a big game like a cup final, cup semi-final, you're desperate to play, and any kind of fitness that you've got, you'll make it up, you'll boost that a wee bit for the manager's sake. So if anybody says you're feeling a wee thing there, you're feeling a wee tweak there, nothing, I'm all right, and you just want to play. So the manager's got to gauge that, and the coaches have got to gauge it as well, because sometimes they know the player better than themselves. Sometimes, so some players will want to go on the park, irrespective of what's the matter with them. They want on the park. That's all there is to it. So they've got to gauge all that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's one of these things, isn't it? Southside, you're only correct in hindsight, isn't it?
Well, the one I would use that then, since you've said that, is when John Lundstrom played in the League Cup final, and then they asked him in an interview no long after it, were you fit? And he said, aye, course. Did he look fit that day? When Taff was running about with lead boots on, did he look fit? I know he played because of the games at the time, it was crucial, but we're talking about Connor. I think if Connor Golson's in the starting 11 on Sunday, when you're travelling up to the game, everybody will think, right, good, he's back and we should get back to stability here. But like I say, it will be a gamble because of the type of injury he's probably had, Ox. But that'll be on Michael Beale, because he has to make sure that we win this on Sunday. It's not going to be a long-term effect to his job. It'll not be, but it's crucial that we win this on Sunday and get us into that final.
All right. We have been joined by old Davy. Evening, Davy.
Good evening, boys. Hello. How do you do? It's old Davy here, the boy in blue. Hey, all. Right, Bridge and Suicide Eye. Yeah, great to hear you guys. Great to hear. I just picked up on it earlier. I think it was at Bridge. It said he was at Ibrox.
Yes. He was over at Ibrox, yes.
Yeah. I was there on Wednesday, and I'd just like to put a wee word out for any of the Bears that are going on Sunday. They have a great sale on there now. If you want a top, guys, crackers at a £10 and £12. So get yourself there and put some money in the old bank anyway. So let's get back to this football. Somebody said the other night there, Hawks, about Matondo. The knee injury. Is that right?
Gosh, mate, you might find this hard to believe, David, but I don't like doing everything that people say.
I'm sure it was GB.
He'd had a knee injury.
Aye. Well, where did he get it? Was he ice skating?
Probably the hairdressers.
He tripped in his hair. His hairstyle.
Anyway, what I'd like to say about what I'd like to say about Sunday, it's very intriguing how this is going to pan out, because this is crucial. We all know what's involved, but it's crucial that we get this team selection right, because the ones that, well, in my opinion, and I've heard a lot of you mention different players, who plays and who doesn't play, but this will go miles and miles to tell us how we can get about beating this mob. Because we've got to get this right, because we've not been doing it. This is half an hour and make mistakes. We've got to change that outlook totally if we're looking for something in Sunday, guys.
Aye. Listen, this sounds a bit daft, Bridgeman. It's not about performance on Sunday, it's about a result, isn't it? Nothing else.
100% right, 100%. Obviously, a performance by our team will make a big bonus for us. As long as we get the win, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. We would like to see us beating that team, and I mean beating them on the park. No excuses. Just get out there, do the business, get the goals, get the points, and nobody can argue with it. You know, we don't want to be them still chipping away. You get the referee was on your side for this or that. You know, but it doesn't happen very often.
I don't want to upset you. It's a semi-final. You don't get any points.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Just want the score. Just want the score to get out. You want the win.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it's all about in any semi-final Southside, isn't it?
Aye, it's getting there. It's just getting to the final. It's good to hear you on me, Burt Reynolds. But what? Listen. We've no fear. Look, we shouldn't have any fear. I know the results haven't went our way, and if we think back to before with Gio and what happened up there, it's not about that. It's about going forward. And as I said, in that League Cup final, you could see the fitness levels of the team. It was poor, and we never turned up basically for probably 70 minutes in the whole game. You know, so we've shown that under Michael Beale, he's got a system. If a team work hard off the ball and do the right things, and hopefully when we go on the ball, the chances that we've had in the past that we take. And as I said, Alfredo was glaringly up there right after half time. If he scores, his goals change games, then you never know what will happen that day. But that was the best chance of the whole game, and he didn't take it. My only hang-up is I'm worried about Michael Beale having to hang his hat on players. Bridges already said earlier, Ryan Kent on his day is a good player, and Alfredo on his day is a good player, but they've not been good players, no for a long time. And that worries me if we've got to go into this final and hang our hat on them. And most people will probably say Alfie has to start and probably Kent, but they've not turned up. Alfredo's been here, 5-6 seasons. He's scored about 3 goals against him in all the times he's been here. That's no a number 9 at Glasgow Rangers for that length of time, scoring against him. But I'm just worried, Docs, that we're asking, and he alluded it to himself in the interview, these players need to go and want to get to a final and that, whether they're going to be here or no. But I'm just struggling to hope. I just hope whoever puts in that park, they go out and try their heart out, like I say, like we all say, for 90 minutes. But unfortunately, some players haven't been doing it. You know, that's the sad fact.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we've got anybody in form, David.
That's a great point. That's a very good point.
We've got to be fair. We'll take Cantwell and Raskin out of that. It's not fair to judge them, but the players that were there at the start of the season, yeah.
Well, that's where I think. I totally agree with what Sue said. He always does talk common sense, like Bridges as well. But I think we've got to shuffle the pack here this Sunday and just maybe bring a couple in that they don't expect to be in certain positions, like i.e. Sakala through the middle, Tillman at the back of him. I hate saying this about any Rangers players. Don't play them. I would not play Morelos. And I wouldn't play Kent either. I would have him on the bench. This is the interesting part of Sunday. How we line up and then how we take it from the whistle. That'll be very intriguing.
I don't think you're alone in these thoughts. I'll bring in Southside, then Bridge. Southside?
Listen, I wouldn't, right? But I was just going to say, I've had a text for Hadji saying he's got to start Ox. Alfredo, right? But no, I wouldn't, Davey, for the simple reason being he's not put the effort or anything in. He's going through the motions, but I get that he'll play this role and he can fight and he can hustle and all that. We need to put the ball in the net. That's what we need to do. We need to get up there and put the ball in the net. I think pace hurts him, Davey. You know, pace pace hurts him, and sometimes you might just need to lob the ball into the channels. You know, I'm not worried about that. You've got to get them turning. You can't keep playing with Alfie facing our goal when he's picking the ball up 25 yards out to hopefully lay a pass off. Then he's not getting himself up there and in the box when the ball's going further up the park. You know, he's not been doing it. And then we're sticking our hat on him saying, oh, please, Alfie, will you do it this week? No, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, mate. No, that you're actually thinking, well, he actually turned up for a semi-final against them, Davey.
Yeah, but I said I mentioned I wouldn't play him.
I wouldn't either, mate.
I said put Sakala through the middle and juggle it up a bit, because they're 100% certain to know that Morelos is going to be at number 9. He'll be sitting there stall out thinking that. So we got to duke that about, because it's not working, as you just said.
Bridgman?
Yeah, like the guys are absolutely right. As far as Morelos is concerned, I've been saying, particularly the last 6 weeks, apart from the game where he scored 2 goals and could have got a hat-trick, he hasn't done it. He just hasn't done it. And I don't know whether you could say he's not been himself, because that's the way he's been playing most of the season. So I personally speaking, I wouldn't have him on my team. I might bring him on, but I wouldn't start him. But that to me, it's like you can't fight the wind at times. It's there, and there's a movement, and the manager wants as strong a person up front as possible. And I think that Morelos might just be the only one he could select. So that's the position I think we find ourselves in. I don't see any problem with putting Tillman up front, to be honest.
He's been there in the boy. I've not played him there all season.
No, I've not got a problem. All I'm saying, I wouldn't have a problem if he did that, but I do think he'll go with Morelos. I do think that. And Morelos, if he does that, Morelos has got to turn up. He can't sit behind and moan and groan, get that funny face going. No, he's got to get into the game and do what's needed to be done. And he's the only one that knows how to do that for himself anyway, you know. That's the way I feel about it. There's a couple of players in there that they aren't shining and they haven't shown for a while, and we know they're better than they're playing. We know that. It's up to the manager to pick them and get them going.
All right. Hadji, phone in, ask your question. Simple, 0141 356 1972. And Mr. Hadji, I'll get your good friend to reimburse you for the price of the call. Can't be any fairer than that, Southside, can I?
Sounds reasonable to me, mate. Definitely. But it's sad, isn't it, mate? It's really sad that we've watched some of these players like get through the motions, and you're a big, massive cup semi-final against them. You can get yourself a final, get yourself a medal, and where some of us in here are wondering whether they'll really be up for it and go and fight for the cause, you know. That's not acceptable at our
if you
club,
were picking the team in form, right? All I want you to say, I'll go through the... David, you might write this down because it's quite complicated, right? All I want you to say is in or out. I'll ask you the players that would be in the team or out the team, just on form. We'll go on these one at a time, right? Alan McGregor, Southside.
He's in.
Bridge.
Aye, in.
Davey.
I'll say in just because of the.
Davey. It's
Okay, right. In.
Right. Just kid you
Very
in your up,
bad temper, Davey.
Just kid in your up with a camel, right? It's either in or out. Right. James Tavernier, Davey.
In.
Bridge.
In.
Outside.
He's in.
On form. These two players are on form, all right.
Well, technically they shouldn't be, but you're going. Oh, wait a minute. It's the magnitude of the game here. If it's no game and it was something like Partick Thistle, then he'd boot, wouldn't he? But you've nobody even replace him.
Exactly. That's the issue.
That's how we're saying in. No.
Davis, on form. Bridge.
Out.
Southside.
He's staying in.
In the house or the team?
Listen, he's made a couple of errors, right? Everybody's on his back. He stays in.
Right. Davey?
Who was it you said there?
Ben Davis. I told you.
Oh, Ben Davis. Well, by the time it gets to me, everybody's answered the questions. He's still playing right, but he's got to be in. Who else? No, I'm out.
Right. I've just explained the rules, Davey. All you have to answer is in or out. Right. We don't need a sermon. Right.
Okay.
Connor Goldson, Davey.
Oh, in.
Bridge.
In.
Southside.
In.
John Lundstrom, Southside.
He'd be out for me.
Bridge.
Yeah, out.
Davey.
Aye, 3 outs.
I'll leave the two boys, Raskin and Cantwell, yeah, we'll be fair to them. Sakala, in or out, Southside.
In.
Bridge.
In.
Davey.
3 ins.
Morelos. Davey.
Out.
Bridge.
Out.
Outside.
Gone.
Brian Kent.
Out.
Davey.
Out.
Bridge.
I'd go for an in.
That's fair enough. Young Tillman. Davey.
In.
Bridge.
In.
Southside.
3 ins.
Right, okay. Right. And obviously I've took Scott Wright as 3 ins automatically. Is that fair?
Aye. Correct.
All right. I think the point is, Southside, you nailed it right at the start. I've not talked about Big Suitor, to be fair. We haven't got a lot of options. Let's be honest. What have you got? Depends on Connor Golson's fitness. The 5 out of 4, you're putting on any 4 for 5. Nobody else is coming in. It's Golson and Suitor, or Golson and Davis. That's it. The midfield, I think Lundstrom will start. Unfortunately, as you said, with Raskin sitting next to him, and then you'll have a mixture of it. Kent, Sakala, Morelos, Tillman, and Cantwell in front of him. Yeah. There'll be 4 out of 5.
Aye.
And that's about it. We haven't got options because we've got that much injuries, big man.
I know. I'd like to have seen Kolak back fit and all, but that's not even materialised, you know. It's just shocking.
You get my point? We haven't got a lot of options.
No, we've got to play. What I said a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? Well, maybe we're similar to what we're going to have to go against Aberdeen. And barring any of the two adding or getting starting 11, it will be basically the same team that probably played against Aberdeen. Because we don't have really anything else, unless you can find a spot for Hadji. But how could you justify Hadji getting into a starting 11? You know? He's not had anywhere near the game time or anything like that. He's not looked anywhere near ready. So, and you'll no trust Matondo in a game like that straight away. I mean, we'd be turning around and saying, "Oh, he's our talisman today. He's the guy that's going to change the game for us," you know. So, but with the squad, I just think next season it'll be a lot more positive. But Sunday we've got to have a right good go at it, because some of these players are on this is their swan song, and it's unfortunate we might have to try and depend on them. It'll probably depend on them whether they're actually up for it or no. That's just not acceptable.
Some injury list, Davey, but we also want players to get there with the right attitude. The South Side's alluding to.
Well, I mean, the game speaks for itself. Whether we've got that type of player, I doubt it. I really doubt it, because I don't think there's a few missing there that don't have that passion for the Rangers. And that can only change if we change the setup. But win, lose or draw, guys, it's this game. It'll just actually give a reflection on how the season's been going. So forget the win, marvellous. But from then on, I just feel it's going to get. It will get better. I know it will get better.
And what context is that, Davey? What context is that?
Confidence and getting in the right squad players. Goalkeeper, whatever, how he's looking at it, he must see he's got to deal with his game, with what he's got. But he's still going to think where he's going to go after this game, because all the other games are rubbers. So this is when he could jump and change a couple of guys. He'll know who's going and all that. But at the moment, it's going to be hard for us to match that mob, because a few players have got their number. But we need 11 players, and that was how I'm mentioning Morelos. You're playing a man down, playing him. That's just my opinion, guys.
Certainly, his form in his very latest game, you've got to think that, you know. But he had a game not that long ago. He scored 2 goals. Was that against St Mirren or something? Was it St Mirren?
Yeah.
But you know, that form was, shall we say, different from any of the form he'd been running at. Sorry, what do you think, Southside?
I get what everybody gets. Like, we play the ball up, you want the ball to stick, and Alfie's the guy with the physical ability. Carter Vickers, I mean, they know if you play Alfie, they know what they're going to get, and he knows. Maybe if you played Sakala through the middle, you're not looking for him to hold the ball up all the time, but should he get the ball at his feet, you're hoping that big dumpling will come in the back of him and it'll be a foul. You know, it's an easy thing. You know, you look for that. I know Sakala's erratic, you'll know hold the ball. And look, Alfie the other night, last week, he was playing balls across the park and didn't even look again. But on his day, he's good, he's the out ball. I get that. But watch him week in, week out, he's no doing it. But maybe because it's a semi-final, and maybe just because he might think, I need to put more effort in, and maybe we'll get a big performance out of him and it'll justify probably Michael Beale playing him. But the new, he's just no that guy that I think's going to cause them a lot of problems. He'll be the guy that will play the ball up to, and we'll hope that he can hold it off and lay it off to people. That's the way I see it. And it'll be up to Alfie whether he performs on the day. But we've had this tried and tested. It's no worked. He missed a big chance, and he also had a bad goal disallowed that he would have should normally have stood. I get that as well. But I just think maybe something slightly different with pace, and we might get at him a bit better and we might trouble him there. But it's Michael Beale's call, Bridge, as you say, and it's him that's going to take the responsibility at the end of the day if this result doesn't go the right way. But listen, we've got to be confident on Sunday, and I'd like to think we are going to get the result. But it's a big game, and it puts more pressure on him should the result not go his way. So the decision will have to be made, Bridge. And if Alfie goes out and gets through the motions and we all see it, you'll hear it all come Monday and Tuesday of next week, mate.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, let's hope he doesn't do that, you know. Let's hope.
Anyway, gents, we've reached that point in the evening. We're going to have a tune.
took a trip to Eyebrow, my favourite team for to cheer, where they were playing the Glasgow Celtic on the first day of the year. Now the ground was filled to capacity as the teams come out to play. The animals sang the soldiers' song, and the people sang Dolly Gray. Now half-time it came and went from the Glasgow Celtic were in the lead. Finian Tully was running everywhere, shaking his rosary beads, while the green flags, they were flying high. Celtic hearts were full of pride. The second half, sure it started, and the Rangers, they turned the tide. Won't you play up the Glasgow Rangers? Oh, play up the boys in blue. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. We're here to cheer for you. Now the ball goes out to Waddle, and from 30 yards he did score. Sure you couldn't hear your ears at Ibrox Park for the sash my father wore. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. Sammy Cox is on the ball. He slips it through to Willie Woodbarn, then on through to Ian McCall. McCall to Billy Simpson. Oh, here come the boys in blue. Well, Simpson beats the Celtic centre half, and then goes number 2. Now the Rangers fans are roaring. Jardine Young, he takes a free onto the head of William Simpson, and then goes number 3. While it's 3-1 for the Rangers, that was the final score. A happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Fenians once more.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
What a tune, Southsider. What a tune.
We had that belting out on Sunday there on the way up. So we did.
What a tune. Right, okay, aye. Listen, you can debate and argue this formation, that formation, different players. I don't know if I've ever known, and if you like, the last 20 odd years, as more and more subs have been involved in the game, where you've got so little options, if we're being honest, Southside.
It's probably just down to the amount of your first team players that a few of them you would probably have relied on, you know. I mean, let's be honest, if Hollander was fit, he'd have been playing, you know. He's probably the best sort of left-sided defender that we'd had in the last wee while. For all the other ones that we've tried there, probably the more physical as well, and was pretty decent in the air. The only thing people used to criticise him on was pace, but I didn't see many players in Scotland ever outpace Hollander, you know. And obviously Tom Lawrence and that, who we would have wanted to see more of going forward, than Hadji, who had been playing no bad in spells. I know he wasn't your favourite player, but with him taking an injury, being a first team player, and turning up in some big games for us and scoring some good goals. Also, him and Lawrence are the two players that we had in the squad that were more likely to shoot from outside the box.
And throw in Cholak, maybe a fit Ryan.
Sakala does as well. Sakala will have a go, but they two that are injured, Docs, they two would normally have a shot. So we've missed that in the sort of forward areas. But I've never known, honestly, I've never known, in all the times I've followed the Glasgow Rangers, I've never known to have so many injuries to this amount of players in one season, or over 2 seasons even, if you look at it.
We'll be joined with Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Southside. Evening, guys. Just what you are talking about. For me, I'd have Alfie on the bench. And I know all the whys and wherefores. You're saying to yourself, well, we don't have another out-and-out striker. We know that. But Southside's bang on. The wee guy's done nothing. Done absolutely hee-haw. Against Aberdeen, he was worse than a man short. And it's happened too often. You're going into a semi-final and we've got to win this game. I'm looking at it from all angles. I've been through the squad. I get tell the day, the wee boy next door that plays at Rangers, and he's like, he says, big man, he says, that Hadji, he says, is tearing them apart, he says, in training. He says, do you know he's been fit since January? I says, what? He says, honestly, he says, he's been fit since January. He says, and Beale will not even take a look at him. So I'm looking at all our players that we've got. You've got Ken. We know he's a favourite of him. He's not done much either, granted. But he's got pace. You've got Sakala that can burn it. You've got Matondo that's got pace. And you've got Hadji. You've got Arfield that you can bring on. You've got Alfie that you can bring on. If you're going with right, Ken, Sakala and Matondo, there's 4 guys with pace. He's got to be able to use them. Surely to goodness, guys, rather than relying on Alfie that's done hee-haw. Yes, you can bring Alfie on if everything's going pear-shaped, but surely we know the problem they've got. You run at them, you cause them bother. You've got 4 guys with pace. He's got to pick 3 out of the 4, surely, and that still leaves him with the likes of Tillman, etc., where he's going to play him. I think he's got to use what he's got, and he's had all week to work on it. He's got 3 out of the 4 guys that can run. That's the danger. You've got to be able to pace. That's what causes him bother. You've got to get that ball up the park and get at their defence. So you must use the guys with pace. What do you think?
I don't disagree with your argument, Blue Star, but as bizarre as it seems, I think the manager will start with Alfredo.
I'm not disagreeing, Ox. What I'm saying is, everybody and their granny knows the wee guy's not been doing it. Our manager knows he's not been doing it. Is it a case of, well, he spite it all, I'm not caring, he's only number 9? Well, that's on his own head. And if Alfie doesn't do it again, then that's on our manager's head. But he hasn't been doing it. Surely somebody that can at least run with the ball, at least you're going to cause him a bit of damage and somebody else can maybe nick in.
It's a point of view. I mean, I quite like Sakala. Davy's got something about him. I know he didn't have a good game last Sunday, but who did through the 90 minutes, you know?
Oh, none of them have been putting the ball in the net, Ox. Well, I know that. What I would say is on Hadji, I know he's no blistering pace. The one thing I would say about Hadji, the wee guy can put the ball in the net, and he can certainly put balls through that are better than some of the ones we've been getting. So I think when he's been fit all that time, that kind of money for him, and we know that he's got ability. We know he's not the fastest, but goodness me, when we're struggling for players, surely he should be getting used. And Matondo's the same. Whether we like it or not, if the wee guys get blistering pace, I said this weeks ago, Hampden Park's a big, wide, open park, as we know. You get at them. If that wee guys, it's the same with Kent. That game's tailor-made for Kent in a game like that because it's big open spaces. You kick the ball and it's a one game that you can run.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the last Kent at Hampden, Kent managed to disappear and in the end, all the big open spaces, didn't he?
I know that, mate, and that's a conundrum. You know, it's a catch-22. What else does he do? For me, I would certainly be playing with guys with pace if I've got them. No doubt about it.
I get it. Davey, in you come, mate, and then we'll go to Bridgman.
Aye. Star's got a point there, yeah, very valid point there. But I just think the game's screaming out to get a wee bit, mix it up a bit. Because if we play the way we played in the last two games, the same players, and hopefully we don't make all the mistakes. If we play that kind of formation with the players we're talking about, I just think we're getting another dose of the medicine, and I don't see it working.
I just don't see he's been dead radical, Davey. You know, as much as I'd like to see a lot of change, sort of forward position, Alfie probably play. If you look at the game up there wasn't much in it. Our two, I mean, John Souttar and, first of all, Ben Davies, they two errors cost us the game, basically. And Alfie missed a big, massive chance, as I've said repeatedly. It's early second half, and unfortunate didn't get the first one given. But it's just, it's one of the games, mate, and I think Michael Beale will go for that. I don't think he'll do anything too mad. I don't think Matondo will start. I get logic in it, but he's not been anywhere near the team in a long, long time, and Michael Beale has to get it right, and he'll probably go with more or less the team that we think he'll probably go with. There will be one or two he could add in. For me, what you're saying about Kent, mate, Kent was stinking at Hampden the last time up Blue Star, and on the left, when he went left, that boy Johnson had him all day long. He just put the tackle in, knew he was going to do, and took the ball off him. So if Ryan Kent goes into that team, he has to go into a position where he's going to affect the game. And that'll be down to Michael Beale, you know. That's my point, Ox.
Absolutely, Southside. But do you
understand? Just a minute, mate. We've been joined by a caller. Evening, Bob. How are you doing?
Hello, how you getting on, boys? Just a quick in and out for me tonight, Ox. Yep, exactly what was said. I've been kind of picking on Kent and Morelos, rightly so, I think. In this game, they owe Rangers big time. Rangers have been good to them. They're taking them places that they would never normally have been for Liverpool reserves and HJF's Helsinki. So they owe the club big time. And I think the two of them will play on Sunday. And yeah, I would give Matondo a shot at some point. Because he's got electric pace, the boy. Not a lot of ability, but he's got plenty of pace. And pace hurts him. And I'd just like to say, before I go, the media had written us all off completely. And I want to shove it in Sutton, Hearts and Strachan, a lot of them. You can. I don't need to repeat them. So don't ever write off Rangers. We are the people. We'll go for it. And it's a quick get Ox, and I'll need to go, mate. And all the best, lads.
Cheers, Bob. Yeah, the best quick we've had for a long time, mate.
No worries, mate. You take care and good luck to the Bears. I'll see you later. See you sometime next week, okay?
Cheers, Bob. Yeah, and you come, Blue
Star.
I just think, any of us think that he'll not play Kent and Morelos. I don't think any of us do. I think we all know if Kent's managed to get fit, he's a stick on. And so will Alfie be. I agreed. I'm just saying that if he's got to think and it's not working, you've still got Scott Wright, you've still got Matondo, you've got Sakala, you've even got, dare I say, Arfield. But for me, Arfield, you can't even get half an hour out of him. That would be all right for the last 20 minutes or so. But he has got a couple of options if we're needing pace. And I think the longer the game goes on, hopefully we're still in it. We have got players with a couple of bits of pace, and I think that's what will do the damage. Honestly, I do. I think that's how you get at them. You run it with their back kicks. Dare I say it, the same as what they do with us. That's how you beat them. It's the same logic.
I get it. I've not got a lot of confidence. I'll go to Bridgeman with this one. I've not got a lot of confidence in Scott Wright, if I'm being honest, to affect anything, even though he scored a wonderful goal at Hampden in the cup final last year.
Yeah, I'm not Scott Wright's biggest fan, although I did like him when he first came. Thought he was going to be a big star for us. Unfortunately, it's kind of petered out on him. Maybe it's still time for that. Our team, I said it earlier on, our team need to get belief in themselves, and the manager's got belief in them based on what he's saying, and if he picks them, then he's picking them, and we can turn around and say for it because we can say, oh goodness sake, it's always what to pick for. The truth is, week, the manager might, in fact, he picks a team. They might be the guys he's going to depend on because he thinks they're the best there. We may have a different opinion with that one. I just hope the manager picks the correct team for himself, and they all go out there, managers and coaches and team, and go out there and give it to them. And they've got to do it big style. Seriously, big style. Can't allow them any time on the ball. If you allow them time on the ball, they're a good team, that team. Good team.
So I think first and foremost, your players have got to be fit.
Well, that's the thing. Ryan Kent does, the manager's alluded to it, and we notice sometimes he'll do a lot of running off the ball, and he's integral to when he picks him, what he does off the ball. But let's not be kidded. He's a £7 million player, and he's a guy that's got a few tricks up his sleeve. We want him on the ball going forward in the right areas. Sorry, Ox, did I get flung for what you said there? What did you ask me? Sorry. Can't remember what you asked me. But anyway, what I was saying about Ryan.
For team selection, I don't think we can gamble and play guys that aren't fit.
Well, as we said,
Gosh, yeah.
Connor Golson, if he comes back, it's going to be, you know what the type of game it is, it's going to be hard and physical, and as long as we know that he'll not have any reaction for having to go into a tackle, and he can last a very large part of the game, if not all of it, then obviously he'll get a game. I just think when you put Ryan Kent into the team, you've got to find a position for him to make him effective, and when he's on the ball, he can't be picking it up too deep, and as I said, that boy Johnston had him on the left. When he went left, the boy had him all day long, just took it off him, physically bullied him, got his body in front of him. He was trying to be step overs and it wasn't working. He came in the middle of the park and they were hitting him early in there. So if he's going to play him and he's got a level of fitness, Ox, we've got to find him to affect the game further up the park, get him 1-on-1 or running through, and that's what we need to get for Ryan Kent on Sunday. Should he be part of the team?
Ultimately, he's got to create those stars. He plays. That's his job.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if players are running, i.e. Cantwell, etc., because the one good thing about Cantwell is, it doesn't matter where he puts him on that pitch, he still has a free role. The guy runs all over it. And when players are making runs, as Southside just said, £7 million man, if he's not beating the guy himself, he's got to be threading balls through it. I.e., that's why I said the likes of Hadji. I know the guy's no had game time, but seemingly he's 100% fit. So you're saying to yourself, if the game goes on longer, I'm not saying start him at all, but surely if we're needing balls put through for somebody, i.e. in our field even, Hadji's the best I think we've got for threading balls through, especially the front players. And again, that comes back to the likes of Kent and Alfie. That, for me, with Alfie is the most demoralising thing. It's one thing the wee guy not putting the ball in it, but when I don't even see him running for 50-50 balls, and he's not done it for weeks, he's actually standing waiting and the ball's coming to him. And we all know when we're young kids, you go to meet the ball. It's the same way a centre-half, as Bridge will tell you. When that ball's in the air, you've got to get off your backside and go to meet it. Our players are stunning, waiting in the ball all the time. And that's how a few times we've lost goals, because their players are nicking in where the ball's been too short. Instead of them coming to meet it, they're standing back waiting, and Alfie's been notorious for it. So he's got a lot of conundrums, but if he's got players that are fit, and that, i.e., I'll say it again, he's got to start with 11 that are fit for me. He's got to. He knows he's going to be energy sapping. It's a bigger pack for starters. He's got to play players that are fit. Goodness me, there's any chance.
Ox, can I come in?
Of course you can, David.
I mean, so far the topic of conversation's been all about who are playing some more up front. But I'm more concerned. I'm not saying I'm not concerned, but I have a big concern of how we're going to defend. I know you've got to score goals to win games, but you've also got to not concede. And that's been happening far too, easily. Not just mistakes, it's just passing the ball out. The whole thing's it's not working. So that's a big concern for me on Sunday, is getting the front right, but you've got to get the back right as well, guys.
Individual errors. Southside. That's been the trouble with defence has been at.
Aye, we have had it. Look, we know they've got players that fall into certain bits of the area. You know how they play. We've seen it. When you watch it week in, week out, they just come in waves and they'll willingly shoot for you outside the box if you allow them to do it. But Michael Beale, since he came in, roughly like I said, we've managed to stifle that. McGregor's no had save after save after save to make in games. So that's the way we've got to look at it. It's about us applying ourselves, hopefully win the midfield battle. You're hoping Raskin, Cantwell, and should it either be Lundstrom in there or Tillman run about there. And like we said, we've talked about the players. We need them to stand up and be counted and try and apply our game to them. Because there's no point in us worrying them. We know what they can do. We've seen it happen to us. We've let in stupid goals, we've not defended properly, and we've been punished. So we've got to get up the park enough times. And in breakaways across the city, the times that we broke away on them, 3 against 2, we picked the wrong choices and we didn't execute at the times we should have. So we're going into a cup semi-final. We've got the better honour them all the games that we've played in the Scottish Cup semi-finals or the history of the time. So we've won more than they've won at Hampden in semi-finals of the Scottish Cup. And listen, it's time. It's in the post for them. They're going to get one of them, so it might as well be Sunday. And this is the time you hope everybody stands up and be counted. The support certainly will that day. So I'm sure when they were standing there, when they were celebrating, we were walking out the stadium in the League Cup final, that should be enough to fire them up. And they were standing on the park watching that mob celebrating. That should be enough to fire you up. And you're playing and representing Rangers, and you want to win medals. And they sold Raskin and Cantwell. Come here, you'll play in semi-finals, finals, and you'll win trophies. So the rest of that squad need to prove it and get date for themselves first and foremost, and then us as a support.
Is that the frustrating thing then? That a 20-year-old Belgian boy seems to get it more than some of the people that's been there a while, Southside?
Yeah.
Well, aye, because obviously he spoke to Michael Beale and he's explained the club to him, he's explained the pressures, what he wants from him, and Todd Cantwell said it in a few times recently. He understands what it is at the club now, he understands what's expected. And at Glasgow Rangers, you're expected to go to cup finals and win them, and you're meant to win league titles. They've been in the trophy room, they've seen it. So he tells them that there'll be a pressure put on you. So when he's going to get these players, I fully expect them that they'll understand that what the pressures will be put on them. But they've got to be able to handle that. That's the problem. They've got to go out and perform. If they've got a wife, a missus, a family, they've got to hope their wife's happy when they come and settle, because if she's not happy, he might not go out and play and perform on the park. Oh, that's got to be taken into consideration as well. Players come to a new league in a new country. They've got a settling in period of time.
There's a conundrum, Davy. Happy wife.
Oh, I'm not getting involved. Passing that one. I better ask my nurse. Hey, did you hear that question there, sweetheart? She doesn't want to David, I know.
Right, so it's going to be interesting. Blue Star, we ain't got a lot of options, have we? You might have Dave boys right, Matondo on the bench. You know, they could play a part, mate, yeah?
They're going to have to play a part, Ogs. You've been saying it for weeks, and that's one point you were right on. Our manager's been drastically naive. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and just saying it's because he's a rookie. That guy across the city that he's playing against will be making 5 subs, no matter what the score is. We've got subs. He's going to have to use them. And if you've got somebody like Matondo, Wright, Hadji, Arfield, these guys are going to have to get game time. They're going to have to, because the players we've got aren't good enough for 90 minutes. Let's not kid ourselves on here. They've not done it for months. That's why we've not won a league. He's going to have to use substitutes at some point in the game. And if you've got players there with a bit of pace and a wee bit of know-how, and I will say it because I'm one of Arfield's biggest critics, but one thing I did give him credit for, if there's minutes to go, he proved that at Aberdeen, he's got the know-how to run into that box and get on the end of a ball. We've no got him in there and we're struggling to put the ball in the net. So if you've got somebody like that You use them, and you use the players what they're good at. Then it's Southside says, there's no point in Kent sticking out in the left if he's not going to take a man on. That's his job. And if he's not taking a man on, he's got to put the ball to somebody that he sees in space for them to take somebody on. We've got to get players in that box. Got to. Whether he plays Alfie or whether he doesn't, I think he probably will. But the guy's going to need support. And players need to get into that box. They've got to put the ball on target. And to do that, you've got to get that ball up the field. And I know what Davey's saying at defence. We all know the mistakes in defence. There's no much options there either. He's got 2 out of 3. He might play with 3 and play the 2 fullbacks pushed forward. I don't know. That depends on his midfield. So it's either Suter, Goldson if he's fit, and Davis. He hasn't got anybody else. So it's 2 out of 3. It's a material. They're going to have to play to the best they can and cut out the mistakes. The game's all about mistakes and putting the ball in the net. Let's not kid ourselves on. This mob's let us down so often. They're running in empty. They've got to go out. They've got one last hurry to get us into a final. If they've got any pride in themselves at all, they've got to go out and try and go out with a bang. They've got 50-50 support in that stadium. Our fans will be there out singing that other dirty mob. So they've got all the fans here. And as you said there, Cantwell and we're asking, if 2 young boys can get it, surely to goodness the rest of our stalwarts can go out there and get one final push. We can only hope.
It's the last dance for some in a minute.
Without a doubt.
No, it's the last dance. Right, okay, here's a big question then. We've talked about the forward players a lot tonight. Southside, I think me and you might disagree on this one, mate. We'll assume the 3 centre-halves are fit. I think the obvious that the Connor Goldson will come back in the right-hand side. Who plays left for you, Davey?
Oh, that's a hard one. On forum, I would put. I'd take a gamble on. What do you call him? The big centre half that was playing last week. What's his name?
The 2 of them are playing last week.
Sure. Sorry, thanks, Blue Star. It's getting late at night. This is when I doze off. I think they could. I don't know. It's a hard call. It's a hard call.
Bridgeman?
Hard call.
Blue Star?
Suter for me, Ox. One, he's better in the air. I think he's all right in the ground. And one of the good things about him is you can always push him up at a corner. At least he puts the ball on target if he gets his head on it.
Can I come in?
I am to go Bridget and Southside.
I was just going to say, I have to say that I'm not his biggest fan, but I think Suter would probably be better than Davis at the moment because Davis' form had dipped a wee bit, and he's going to be the target with the long balls and the chips over and things like that because then they can see weaknesses here and there in Davis. Whereas Suter, they know that he's a big sturdy boy that played against him before, you know. But I don't know how he's going to go playing on the left side. It might be dynamite. So let him see it.
That's how you maybe not been fair to the boy. Southside.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. You have just judged Suter because he's played decent and he's played on the right hand side where he should be playing. I know you want to take the boy and put him on the left and hope because he's been dominant in the air and he's looked good and he's been strong in the tackle because when boys are going down the right hand side of him, he can put his right foot in. If they decide to take him down the left hand side, it might not be so clever. I get he dominates in the area, but a better header there ball in both boxes. But then you're looking for that boy to go out and try and put in a performance on the left hand side. Where Ben Davis has looked all right for a decent amount of time. We all said he looked comfortable and the boy's a good passer. He can switch the play pretty well. He reads the game no bad. And then he's made 2 errors out of 3 probably, and he looked a wee bit shaky here or there. And everybody wants to take that balance and everything out of team. To put Suter in, who's been playing good on the right-hand side, because we aren't then going to take a chance on Goldson. We hope that he's going to be fit and play 90 minutes. So what happens if Goldson breaks down and you play Suter? Then you'll need to bring Ben Davis on. You'll need to bring him on anyway, wouldn't you? So it's everybody's judging John Souttar, and rightly so, because he's played on the right-hand side and he's looked better than he's ever did on the left.
I think if you're fair to him, it looks as if he's very comfortable on the right side. On the last 3 games, he would play Souttar for him. Up until then, Ben Davies has been reasonably steady for us. I think he's gone Southside. I think that 20-minute, half an hour, I was saying the whole time at Aberdeen, he looked to me as if he'd gone, mate, honestly.
I don't think he's gone. I think he's an experienced player. He's 28 years of age. He made a huge error up there, and he's probably, you don't know how you feel after it, but obviously he's got it. Things happen in these type of games. We've seen mad things happen in these type of games, and it's unfortunate we've seen it happen to him. And you could say Souttar was at fault for one of the goals as well. But I gave him a lot more thing because he just come back into the team, and I want him to do well. But I think if we see the best of John Souttar, we'll see it on the right-hand side of your defence going forward, whether that's in a 4 or a 3. My opinion, I would probably stick with Ben Davies, just because I think he gives you the ability and the stability on the left-hand side, and I think he passes the ball forward. And I just don't want to put Souttar in that position. Something happened and he just made a boo-boo. I just think he plays well on the right. But I get everybody's reason for playing him, and I'm no forfeit saying I would maybe play him, but I just think I would stick with Ben Davies. That's what I'm agreeing with, in my opinion.
Star?
I get what you're saying on the left. Listen, depending on where the ball's coming, this nonsense about you've got to be left-footed, that's only if you're a left back or a right back for me. You're playing in the middle, you can play either. But I might be taking out his horns anyway, Ox, because we don't know if Goldson can even make it. We don't know that yet. So he might go with the 3. Who knows? But for me, Souttar's certainly more dangerous in the air. And for that reason, and for that reason only, I would play Souttar. For me, Davis is too namby-pamby. I've never fancied him. I don't think he's a good enough player, to be honest. I think Souttar's far more robust.
When you come, Bridge?
Look, Souttar's a really good header of the ball, and he's a good jumper as well, and he's a big sturdy guy, you know. I did like Davies. I thought Davies was a really good addition to the squad and a smashing player, and he's got that valuable left-sidedness about his game, where he can take the ball and he can stride for a few yards and make a nice pass. I'm afraid the last time they had a terrible game at Ibrox against them, and I don't think he's recovered from it, to be perfectly honest with you. And we saw against Aberdeen, he was heading in a similar direction. Nothing against the guy, other than we have to have someone who's got a good head on his shoulders, and it's right. We can't have him falling out of the game and passes. So that's the reason why the question was, Golson's playing, who's going to play on the left-hand side of him? Either Davis or Souttar. And for me, in this case, it would be Souttar. And I'm not a fan of Souttar's at all. I didn't want him at Ibrox, but he's there, and we need to support him. And he is quite a good player when he's not injured. So the manager's going to probably play Souttar on the left side of the bench.
Listen, I might play Souttar, but I don't know if the manager will.
That's what I'm saying. It's a really difficult situation that the manager's in.
That's about one of the few options we've got. Still enough, if they're all fit.
Yeah. Aye.
That's true. You know, because we are down to the bone, south side.
Aye, I mean, listen to it's. I mean, you're saying crisis of confidence. I mean, half the people that phoned in here when they've had Borner in their team. Oh, he doesn't tackle, he's caught out at the back post, doesn't do this and doesn't do that. You know, players sometimes just have a wee rocky patch from time to time. And it's a crucial game and we want to win it. And you maybe own for him when you look at it, he's made a few errors, he's looked a wee bit shaky, so we'll maybe take him out. And I get that. And it is a dilemma for Michael Beale. I think in time we might look no bad going forward with a new team next year. Maybe sometimes doing a back three, you know, and it might be all right. But I don't know. But this game's crucial, and the back four just need to be solid on the day. Just clear your lines. That's all we ask for. We don't need to play out 1-2s. If it's no on, get it in the stone out the road, and then we can all get compact, get marking your men, and that's all we need to do. And like I said, McGregor's not had to make save after save after save in the last few games against them. They've not given us a lot of trouble in the air, like apart from corners. They don't play a lot of high balls up the park. So I can see what you're saying, but I think it's about reading the game and being tight on your man and that. And I think, but however he picks, it's just about us getting the result on the day, mate. So let's do this, Rangers. Let's do this.
We haven't really discussed the midfield tonight, Gloucester. Because again, we've not got a lot of options, isn't there? You know, the only one that's fit and could influence, and I can't see him coming in because he's disappeared. He's going to come out.
No. It's symbolic. Well, so the truth be told, it's symbolic. He's got very, very little options, whether it's defence, attack, or midfield. I mean, that's the predicament the guy's in. And we're all desperate to see them humping them. But if you're being perfectly honest about it, he's got very, very little options. I mean, I'm talking about a substitutes bench. And if the truth be told, even there, who do we look at, no matter who he's got on that bench, that we think can come on and make a massive difference? I'll tell you the new, there isn't not one single player that you think's an absolute game changer. And that's the predicament we're in. We're at the bare bones. We're managers at the bare bones, and he's having to work with his hands tied, basically, because the squad of players that he's got left, they're pretty useless. You've got to hold your hands up. He's got away with it to run the game simply because the rest are that bad. But the one team that's been consistent, we're nowhere near beating them. And we're asking him to put a side out that can do it. And we've just got to hope. That's all we can hope. It's certainly not an expectation, Ox, because our team's not good enough. It's simple as that. I've been saying it for months. They're not good enough. But you're hoping upon hope that they can pull something out the bag.
With the press conference earlier on Southside, and I'll go to Davey after this, after you, mate. Did you get the feeling Beale knows that? You know, we're talking about a lot of future signings, which is a bit bizarre before the big semi-final, isn't it?
Aye, I think because things are in the press and that, he's obviously going to have to answer certain things. He probably, when he came out, and the good thing I thought he said was, we'll not be getting anybody for Queen's Park Rangers. So that was Lyndon Dykes right off the list for me. Yeah. That was great news, no. But I think he's just a wee bit talkative sometimes. Gio didn't talk that much, and we used to say he doesn't say much. I think maybe next season going forward, they might tone it down a wee bit. He's still inexperienced about maybe talking to the press all the time, being a manager. And Gerrard was good, and he'd learned it. He'd done media training and all that. He said he'd been speaking in front of the cameras for quite a while, and sometimes he knew how to talk. Michael does know how to talk, but maybe he says things maybe just too much to know. But it's good to hear him at least talk, and you can understand things that he's saying. I think maybe saying too much talks about we've made a decision and we know what we're going to do going forward. That maybe he shouldn't. It's good that we hear that, but I think we all know that. I think we're no daft. We know this squad's going to change. But the players, it's the ones that as I said before, he's only got loyalty to two players for me in that squad, and that's Raskin and Cantwell, because he bought them. The rest of them he's got no loyalty at all. So hopefully every one of the players just do my turn, mate, and that's what I hope for on Sunday. They just go out and do it, and because they're professional and they represent the club, and it's what's expected of you, you know.
You hear, Biggie. Davey?
Aye, definitely. I think he's got a good handle on how to nullify them. But the problem is, I think Blue Star said it as well, we've not got the type of player there we knew that can do that with that mob. We know how they play. We don't try and attempt to stop them playing the same way. And Sunday, as far as I'm concerned, we need to double up with Tavernier, because that's where it comes to there. into Kyogo all the time. Now we can take that out of the equation. That's a big part of their game up the spout. So we've got to nullify that. But whether we've got the players to do it, that's a big if.
Right, talking about big ifs. Let's have Southside's Super 6.
Hi, welcome to Southside Super 6 for Saturday the 29th of April. My first selection this weekend is Mansfield to beat Harrogate. My second selection is Brighton to beat Wolves. My third selection is Coventry City to beat Birmingham. The fourth selection is Bolton to beat Fleetwood. My fifth selection is Derby to beat Portsmouth. And the sixth selection is Plymouth to beat Burton. If you take all six, it pays 12 to 1.
To 1. Oh, 6-4. You feeling it, David? You feeling it?
Oxtear, are you going to give us a commentary on that? Which teams have won? Quite enjoyed that.
What are you talking about, Bridge?
The Super 6 thing.
What's he been up to?
No, he just sends us a text saying, well, that's 2 down now. Two up,
Does he? All right, does he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, he supports you. He's supporting you.
I support me to fail to the end of the season.
Send you the same text. Send you the same one.
Is that to be going on, Bert? Aye. I'm putting a complaint into HR.
All I do is forward the text that Big Stevie says.
No, you're not throwing my big mucker under the bus. I'm not even having any of that. I don't even believe that.
I think it's very entertaining and well done to all of you.
I want to give you up-to-date live situations, and last week we were one dude before the games had really started.
As soon as see who was it? Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock have only won one game in grass away from home in nearly a season and a half, I reckon.
And what happened? You took them to get beat. What happened?
And I took them to get beat. And they won their second game in nearly a season and a half away from home on grass.
But you've been hitting the bag. You've been 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6, 2 weeks out of 3, innit?
4 out of 6 and 2 5 out of 6, aye.
Getting close, mate. Getting close. This week, you feeling it?
No, because Fleetwood's my jinx team, innit? I've just realised that. So maybe all the listeners should just take 5. Fleetwood's done me umpteen times this year. But I think they're playing Bolton and they're up. They need to win because it's playoffs, innit?
Aye. Bit of fun, mate. You've done well. Bit of fun. Well, you maybe not done well with the selections, but you've done well having a go.
It's not good for the poker, is it?
No, it is not. Tell me about it. You know what I mean? Between your Super 6 and taking all Davey, I'm rooked.
You do well, don't listen to them. You do well, son.
See, actually, what Blue Star was saying about maybe not having somebody off the bench, right? See if Kent's benched on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you'd like to think, should he come onto the park in the second half? We've got somebody that could maybe influence the game.
Southside, the Sakala play there. And that means Morelos ball play, is that right? Is that fair?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Aye. What do you think, Blue Star? I'll come back to you.
I think you left. I think you lost him.
Sometimes he goes. Davey, if Kent doesn't start, I think he's only really got the one. Well, I suppose he could play Matondo right or Sakala out there, if I've been honest. But I think it would be Sakala, Davey.
Aye, oh, definitely. I totally agree with you. It's what we've been saying all night. We can only play with what we've got, and at the moment, it's nothing great. But as we've been saying, we just want them to come out and rise to the occasion. That's all you can ask. Leave Everton out in that park. I think the Bears will be happy. Get right into their kipper. Take it for there. But I know I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but I think the way this season's panned out, injury-wise, that should not happen again going into next season. And there's a lot to look forward to, guys. But I know it's all about Sunday, but we'll keep our fingers crossed.
I get it. You keep listening for this season. The big picture Sunday. It's not a big picture for the club. It's only one game of football outside that.
Aye, Davey, we ended up last season, we had no striker either, do you know what I mean? And we had to play the false nine and stuff. And as much as it might be a way to go on Sunday, you know, at the end of the day, we need to get a result. And I just think if we don't and some don't turn up and it's just a repetitive performance of the picture we've seen before, then someone will probably need to walk out the back door and walk out the front door, do you know? And then going forward, then he'd have to make changes and just make a raft of changes, because this is the one game that really matters. This is the season. It's win or bust, you know. But that's what it is, mate. We've had all these injuries to deal with. We've got players that are hopefully going to come back and fit, and we're just going to hope that they put on the performance on the day, because in the one-half game, mate, anything can happen, as we know. It's unpredictable, this game, but so far we've been on the wrong end. But it can't stay that way forever, mate, as you know. It never does.
You coming back in, Davey?
Aye, it's well said. Spot on. Also, he's very astute person when he's making his points. What more can I say? It's just one of these things where it's what Stu Side was saying. I mean, a lot of averages you're looking at, it's going to be your turn. But you've got to go out there and do it, and that's what's called upon Sunday with the players that play.
Where are you playing Tillman, Southside?
I would play him. See, if I wasn't playing Alfie, I would play Sakala through the middle and Tillman just sort of off him, but off the boy needs to go and track her the right hand side for the left back, moving forward and shut them down that way. I would play Tillman just off Sakala, because I'd want to get pace. If I could get him on the ball 25 years for goal, just a wee bit of space to turn, I'm like, I don't care if Sakala ran off side 4 times. If Tillman plays that ball through in his own once, and hopefully he does what he did the day on Sunday and score. No, I would like to try and get Bosch through that way, because I think pace on round about them hurts them. Don't think putting the ball into feet, mate. So I'd place Tillman just slightly right, but coming central and all. You know, GP said they move about a bit, but just half close to Sakala if I was playing him through the middle, mate.
Aye, I get it with Sakala's pace. They did worry them again last season. And I think we will look at Sakala differently. Bridgman, if he'd have run the goal and stroked that one into the net on Sunday.
That's very true, isn't it? That's very true. It kind of frustrates you, doesn't it? Sakala, people love him. You know, the fans just love him until he doesn't do the thing you expect him to do, you know. And then there's a love-hate relationship starts. But I think the wee man, if you're going to play him just in front of Tillman, then you got somebody that actually likes to push smart balls through. So it'll be nice to see if Tillman can maybe hold up the ball a bit and then release him and see what happens. But he's got to return it. He's got not return the ball, but give us a return. He's got to be able to make sure and get the ball in the net. That's what we need from some lovely passes, and it can be from Cantwell, it can be from Tillman. Just got to find them. Whomever it is, whether it be Alfie, whether it be Fashion Sakala, but Fashion likes to run on and he likes to have a blast. He doesn't. I don't remember seeing too much. He's smart playing to wee touch into the net. He likes to smash it into the net, and I like that too.
So say last Sunday, I don't know if you noticed it. We wrote Tillman out the left-hand side with Tav to take short corners, arguably one of our best sleepers in the club. I couldn't understand it.
Would you like me to explain it to you then?
Yes, go on.
Okay. Against St Mirren at Ibrox, he came short with Tav, and Tav played the pass to him. And two St Mirren players were there, and what he done is he played the ball in between the two of them. Tav got the ball at the edge of 18-yard box and tried a shot, and it just went over the bar. So that would explain why he did it now and again.
He done it I think it was 3 corners in a row.
I know up at Pittodrie, he fired it in when he was standing there, but they did try that one at Ibrox, mate. That's why that he goes over there, and they tried it at that game, and he did give Tav a good chance to the edge of the box for him to take a shot.
I like Tillman with the in-swinging corners. I'd put him at the front post and he's just got the lead.
Aye, 100%. He's good in the air. We've seen it. And also, he scored a cracking goal at Tynecastle with a hook shot. He's got ability, and he can influence the game. And I think he's a lot fitter than what he was the last time he played at Hampden. I'm hoping that he'll get on the ball and show us what he's actually got. But I'm hoping he'll have a big performance in him. But he's got good vision, and he's got the wee pass in him that puts players through. You've seen it at Pittodrie, but outside his foot, and the one he played in with Matondo, played it with his left foot inside the full-back. So if he can get that wee bit of space at the right time, and we've got players running, let's be honest, Ox, Alfie's not going to run for the defender and look to run through. And let's be honest, he's not got a big success rate running in one-on-one with a goalkeeper, Alfredo. So it's not really his game. But as we say, and as I think, and a lot of us think, pace hurts him in behind. Sakala's been really influential in away games. He's contributed and scored. Unfortunately, when he doesn't, you look for your other striker or somebody else to contribute, and they haven't. And that's what's let us doing at Pittodrie. When he missed that chance, there was nobody else who stepped up and had another chance to take it. Alfie was unlucky, but I'd still keep him going and keep playing him because he can make things happen. He had a nice wee flick at Ibrox to Raskin, and he was unlucky when at Pittodrie and he went for the shot, and some thought he should have squared it to Tillman, but I thought the shot, it was the right thing he done. It was just unfortunate the defender blocked it.
I don't know where the shot was gone, but that's another debate. Anyway, we've reached that time of the evening. Last word here, good self, Southside.
Thanks for having us on. It's great to be on with the legend. It's a Bridgeman. Looking forward to Sunday. Be an early rise and a few share bits before it. But this is a big game for us. I'm sure that Michael Beale will have a team up for it, mate. The support will be well up for it. So we just hope the team go out and days proud. And I'm sure there's one coming for them in the post, and I'm sure it'll be Sunday. So come on, the Glasgow Rangers, let's do this. Thanks for having us on, Ox.
No problem. Bridgeman.
What can I say? Thank you very much for having us on, Ox, Ger. And thanks to Fox and the techie team in the background, and of course, Big Southside for carrying me through this. Anybody who wants this, the Rangers at heart, and I'm talking about all the Rangers fans everywhere, all over the world, this game is probably even more important than it normally is, simply because we're all desperate to beat them. We're this desperate to beat them. We've got to believe this is our turn. Never mind any naysayers, please. Let's everybody just say we're going to win, and let's do it. Let's get out and do it. Biggest game of the season, most important game, biggest game of the season. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers. Every single one is, we've got to do it. Keep it going.
Yep, can I thank Bob Ger who joined us briefly. Davey and Blue Star for joining us, your good self, Bridge. And of course, my big mucker Southside. Thanks to Fox and all school blue in the background. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back at 12:30 on Sunday as we build up to Rangers' victory in the Scottish Cup. Take it away, Foxy boy.